Alright, we got Gunji going. I think we're probably the convict. I don't remember. No, it seems like the convict seems too familiar. We'll do a pilot run. Hello! Hi. Why is this shit not showing up? Uh... Hmm. There it is. Alright. How's it going? How is it? How is things? Been nice and breezy from you. I got Kyle and Hannah here. We've been talking about our opinions on the South, big wedding plans, cats, and heat. And apparently I'm gonna just dodge roll backwards and get hit by a bullet. Another thing that, okay, and this is not shitting on the South in any way, but another thing that's like kind of wonderful about moving away from the South is that you learn that like the layout of the South is space focused, not function focused. So when I lived in the South, everything was significantly far away. In the cities like Atlanta, it's not nearly as much of a problem. But if you live outside of a city, everything is a drive. The nearest Walmart is 30 minutes away. The nearest whatever. You kind of have to make a day to get anything done. Jackie's good. Where Jackie's mom arrives actually in an hour, just about. Her sister's been here for about 3 weeks now. They moved to Seattle right in time for the sky to be made of fire. So I kind of feel it's like one of those things. It's like, say you invite people over and then your toilet gets clogged and you're like, man, this sucks. I'm embarrassed that I invited these people over and there's poopy shit in my toilet. There's nothing you could do about it, but you still feel a little bit of like ownership for the situation. And you know, I feel it feels strange that they're coming out here to live near to us, and the world is on fire. Not that, you know, anything this year has been good in any regard. This is just anomalous. Besides, you know, you and Kyle get married, that'll be good. Don't let anything stop that. Ooh. Let's... I think most of the smoke we're getting is from fires that have been mostly contained. But, you know, fires don't just end, especially when they're that massive. There's usually a little residual ash, lowered air quality. Oh my goodness. I would love to be able to put out this fire. It's insane. Like, I think it was in the news very recently, but Governor Newsom just allowed ex-inmates to become firefighters. They're allowed to be used as firefighters. Wait a second. What is going on with my frame rate in this game? I'm not even getting... Okay, I'll go to 60. And go out and make it happen. Put on your mask and head into the wasteland. I think it's funny that when 2020, or when 2012 was happening, people were like, this is the Mayan apocalypse. calendars predicted that the world would end in 2012, and then like absolutely nothing happened. It was just a regular ass year. 8 years later, fucking every imaginable like nightmare condition has been met, and we're just like, this is just the start of it. Like, it's the worst thing to have to admit to oneself. Dang, is that this is just the start of it. This is just like phase 1 of, God, this is the worst. This is the worst boss to get as the pilot with just the starting weapon. I really genuinely feel that way. These guys summon like fucking nuts, and they pin you down. Dude. So we already lost our lead god. They're already summoning like fucking nuts. And this run is actually looking potentially rough. No, I was the pilot last time because I almost lost. So this, I should have been the Marine this time. I almost died on the rat fight last time. Whoa. So the pilot is like a cursed beginning. How does everybody have that squid? I don't have that squid. I don't know how to do anything on Twitch. I'm just here, pressing buttons, talking as if I can remember enough to hold a conversation. Sometimes I like to think about, like, the power of the internet, you know, the positive, unstoppable power of the internet. And one of the things that I will always think of as a highlight of my understanding of the internet, and it's going to seem, you know, it's going to show up in textbooks at some point, which is crazy to me, is, oh, it is? Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Nobody told me. But, well, I mean, we're going to use it. We don't have, like, anything else to use right now. But is, Twitch plays Pokemon. I will forever believe that that is, like, this is going to be 4.5 curse, which is probably pretty stupid, but, it should make us some money. If this has a heart in it, oh, I'd actually be content. It's a little ballistic missile butt plug. You gotta point your bunghole upward and have it shoot straight down. Otherwise it doesn't work. Come through your room. I'm aiming as good as I can. Or I guess it'd be like more of a torpedo than a ballistic missile. Bob's Burgers is a show that I love everybody that's involved with it, and I love the show. I just don't watch a lot of TV, but I've seen so much of that show because my wife watches it. Jackie, you know, for a while it was like her fall asleep Netflix show. Right now, her fall asleep Netflix show is the Great British Baking Show, which she has watched multiple times. And it is somehow still, like, even for me, who doesn't watch a lot of TV, it is still just an incredible show to watch. What's your favorite part about Bob's Bees? Yeah. Eugene Merman. He's great. Have you listened to any of his stand-up? I mean, he's like a lot of the characters in the show are. They let the VA kind of develop the character, you know. All right. It's funny, like Linda is. I think it's like somebody who just did a character where he was making fun of his mother, for like his YouTube channel or something like that, and he just stuck with it, and it became Linda. And it's such a fucking good character. Bobby. Come on, Bobby. Noodle? This guy calls me a noodle? I wish Kristen Shaw would get her own show. Not that, you know, she needs to get off of Bob's Burger or anything. I think that Bob's Burgers. I think that Kristen Shaw has. She's been sidelined too often. She plays like minor characters in most of the things she appears on, and she's so good. Mabel Pines should have had more of a presence in Gravity Falls. Wait, Tina. I don't know. Is Tina the oldest? The boy crazy Alan? Luis. Yeah. Okay, so I had him confused. Kristen Shaw is Luis? Is that her name? Okay, yes, it is Luis. I'm not totally crazy. I just don't watch it firsthand often enough. Remember. And it's funny, Tina's character was going to be male. And then they just said, hey, what if she's a girl? Like, well into the writing of the show. So they just had to switch the lines, essentially. I don't know Tina's voice actor's name, though. It's funny, H. John Benjamin has, he recorded this jazz album with this really, you know, accomplished group of performers, and, dude, I suck at this game. And, you know, he doesn't know how to play the piano. He's playing the piano badly, along with these great jazz performers. And, I read a thing about it, and, like, it's kind of frustrating for the jazz performers because that's, you know, their best-selling jazz album. Their best-selling album ever. They've been doing it their whole life, and they're incredibly capable. And a comedian comes on who's, you know, a funny guy known for playing characters, and he puts butts in seats, basically, because he's on a cartoon. And it's just like, man, I don't know. Being an artist versus being a celebrity is very, it's a very frustrating proposition. Like, I don't think I ever want fame. I would like success. Okay, that's next. Whatever metric for success I decide to take, that's up to me. We hope we have a girl. Both of us would prefer a girl over a boy. I don't like boys. Boys are just fucked up. I knew too many boys growing up, and they were all shitty. I don't know. I grew up with my mom and sister, and I haven't met enough decent dudes in my life. I was underwhelmed by dudes in general. Oh, dang. Seems like too many. We'll take the jetpack. The eldest? You're the eldest child? Or do you also have older sisters? Okay. Alright, how are we going to handle this? I haven't been playing well enough to actually turn this in. What do you guys hope for? I don't know what it is. Like, I guess it's because I grew up with my mom and sister that I prefer girls, but I don't think it's just like I'm writing this book and the main character is a guy because my fiction teacher told me very early to never try to write from a perspective that you don't understand, and I think that's very good advice for writing. But the main character, the one who actually gets shit done. Yeah, I mean, well, I think it, and this is me patting myself on the back or whatever, but I think it makes you just a little bit more aware of just the behavior of dudes because you see it affecting people you care about. And like, it blows my mind that they're like, okay, so this is something that happened back in Kansas City. There's this guy I worked with who was just a nasty horn dog. And he has 2 daughters, married, just a fucking crazy womanizer. And he doesn't understand how his behavior is problematic. He just couldn't see it. And like, you know, he's flipping out about some dude being shitty to his daughter, and he can't make the connection that like, hey, you're shitty to women all the time. You're kind of a scumbag when it comes to how you interact with women. Maybe there's some connection there. I don't know. Like, I just think that men are more comfortable on average being despicable. I think that is not to say that only men are bad. That is not to say that like I'm some sort of like, I don't know. If you say that you respect women, you're apparently a simp. So whatever. That's just the way it goes now. Anything that doesn't show you as like a barrel-chested troglodyte is a sign of your being whipped, you know. But it's mostly from like growing up with my mom and my sister and seeing dudes treat them like shit, take advantage of them, and yada yada yada. That makes me feel this way. And, you know, no negative repercussions for these guys. Period. Oh, fuck. There's none of these guys that, like, sexual harassment, overlooked for advancement, all kinds of stuff, just constantly, like, punished for not being one of the boys, and you know, just no negative repercussions for the guys that treated him like that. It's like shocking. And it shouldn't take first or secondhand experience. Like, that's the thing that bothers me about a lot of this stuff. Like, I know we can only care about so many issues. We have limited brain space for it. But like, it feels like when you got something like maybe treat all people equally, you don't need to go any further with it. You don't need to explain why that's the right thing to do. You just accept that, okay, yeah, of course, duh. But that's not the case. Like, some people have to be told, like, maybe maybe minorities and people of color and women should, you know, people of different sexual orientations, etc., should just be treated the same. We're not asking. No one's asking for more. Just right on par. But until people see someone suffering from mistreatment, until it's somebody they know, they don't care. And I think that's like, I don't know. I'm playing Gungeon, so I'm on my like social issue soapbox, as per usual. But I really fucking hate how hard it is for people to understand, just like, oh, is that another human being? Then yeah, exactly the same as me. No questions asked. Exactly 100% the same as me. No questions asked. No caveats. Like, stop it right there. I don't know. It's bonkers. It's bonkers and bananas. It's gotta be right here. Pretty sure. I want to save all these blanks though. Ah, shit! I'm on fire. Peace. Oh, excuse me. Did you know that it like costs like nothing, no energy at all, to just be decent? It's so crazy to me. Like, what are people missing by saying people who don't look at all like me deserve all the same stuff? Like, this idea of it being someone else's gain is my loss is just, is worse than childish, because as children we're taught that, like, you know, sharing is caring and you do right by all. The golden rule is the rule of law as children. But at some point it gets screwed up and it just becomes, I gotta get mine. This is a dog eat dog world. Other people benefiting is my loss. Like, these insane notions that I don't know where they come from. Oh, your neighbors have a super nice car? Well, fuck them. They're keeping me from having my nice stuff. It's not a fucking... It's not a comparison. It's not a... That's not how it works. And it's that dividing that is, like, keeping the actual assholes on top. On top. When we're fighting one another, they're, you know, raiding our pockets. They're stealing our wallets. They're keeping all our stuffs for themselves. That was a bad shot. I kind of wish that, like, a lot of my friends growing up, and this is, again, growing up in the South, I don't want you to think that I think the South is all bad. The South was problematic because I saw so many things that as soon as I lived somewhere else, I saw were not the norm. In the South, it was basically a boys will be boys worldview. It was, this is how we think about the kind of situation. It wasn't gone everywhere else. I mean, I saw a lot of that in Amherst because it was a traditionally male school that was, like, historically rich white males. Was the school I went to. It was an all boys school until like 1974 or something like that. Nice. And being a vegetarian makes me miss Wendy's all the time. One of the biggest losses of my conversion. Yeah, in the South, like, you know, some dudes would, I'm not gonna mention specifics, but would do awful shit to my younger sister, and would face no repercussions because they were on the football team, and it was too important that they were allowed to continue to play. A real story. And I'm not talking awful like broke her heart. I'm talking awful like, you know, actually criminal. But, you know, they gotta keep those, gotta keep putting those footballs in the nets. But that's the world, man. And, you know, our football team fucking sucked anyway. Like, statistically. It was just a big deal. I mean, it drew money. It put butts in seats. And it was a selling point of college. I know, and again, I'm going to say this probably ad nauseum because I feel the need to prove to you guys that I'm not just being like a South hater, but I have too much first-hand experience with the slimy side of Southern culture to just like give it a pass. And again, the rest of the country is not a glowing utopia. The Midwest is very, very much backwards for similar and other reasons. Texas is like... I don't consider Texas to be part of the South because it's a whole different kind of insane. There's a lot of political corruption in the DC area. There's a lot of crime that happens that gets overlooked because of who it's beneficial for. The Northwest has problems with certain people having way too much money and power, therefore. But, you know, some of the other stuff is like the overt racism and sexism of the South is just too much. Yeah. I'm not saying it's an exclusive thing. I just am saying that it is a fucking awful thing, and it does in some way. Man, I can't take the boomerang over that. The boomerang's good though. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll start getting keys soon. But yeah, I mean, you know, Brock Turner was a combination of sports star, and he also looked like the judge's son. You could see his own kid in Brock Turner's eyes, and that's why a lot of crimes get less severe punishment. Art and art history, study focus in printmaking and particularly Japanese printmaking. In particular. Where did that boomerang go? Where'd you go, little boomerang? Yeah, it was a pretty easy joke about me studying art and ending up a bartender, but you know, it was a really good job until the world made going outside straight up insane risk. I don't even know how the place where I work is doing. I know that a few months ago I talked to them or not a few months ago, a month ago, or thereabout, after I found out my mom tested positive for COVID. Just to explain to them, like that was why. My mom has great health insurance and received like very good. Well, basically she got told to stay home, but if any further complications did arise, she was in a better position. Since my job laid everybody off at the start of this thing, my health insurance went out the window. My wife's as well. So we basically, if either of us got COVID, we'd just be on our own. If it turned out to be serious, there is nothing we could do but just die. So I had to explain to my managers that, like, I'm not, until there's some way that I can, because I can't even get my health insurance back because I have to go 6 months getting a certain amount of hours before I can reapply for health insurance. So if I go back to work, I'm putting myself at insane risk by being in public with people who can choose or not choose to wear a mask. And if I get sick, they're just going to say, like, I'm sorry that this happened. Let us know how you do. That's the United States. My situation is far from atypical. And that's what's, like, so fucking frustrating about anybody that argues against, like, healthcare for all, or any, you know, just our taxes being used for the betterment of the people instead of the betterment of a handful of people. It's frustrating. This pandemic has been, like, the least surprising thing that I've experienced because of how much was already set up to go this way, you know? My job, when the pandemic started, said, like, hey, anybody that's got health insurance, we'll cover it for you as long as this thing is going on. And, like, literally a day later, I got something in the mail saying, like, hey, since you've been laid off, you don't have health insurance. And I went and asked them, and they're like, yeah, it automatically happened because your hours went under a certain number over a 6-month period. And it's just like, and they're like, we're really sorry, but there's nothing we can do. This is just how the system was built. Right. I mean, you're not, and the main thing that drives me fucking insane about the argument against healthcare is it's made by, you know, the argument is made by the people who most obviously profit off of the current healthcare system as is. But is that, like, it will cost less than you're paying for health insurance now, for the most part, unless you're extremely, extremely rich. And the extremely rich have convinced everybody else, or convinced enough of everybody else, that it's going to cost an arm and a leg, and the somehow immediately there's going to be no oversight. Once it's a government thing, there'll be less oversight, and doctors will do a shitty job just because they don't want to. I don't know. It's just bonkers to me that anyone can think I'd rather pay more than let poor people also get health insurance. I would personally rather pay more forever, have the ability to lose access to health insurance, and yada yada yada, than let a poor person get something for free? No, not on my watch. They don't deserve it. I'll lose money making millionaires richer because I don't want them to gain anything. Drives me bananas. Gives me a bananerism. What's up, baby? I said, what's up? Oh, you're leaving? Okay. Say hi.
Hi.
She's wearing her glasses because she's driving my car, and she better know what she
better know what's right to do.
Better see what's going on.
Would he too also assign this? I love you both.
Yeah, they're just waiting for you every time they tune into the stream. I'm just Okay, baby, have fun Be safe. Working in a huge college town, working in healthcare. Dude, I couldn't imagine working in healthcare at all. Like, it's funny because before all this happened, I was talking to my mom about the health insurance system, and her response kind of kept breaking down to, well, that's just the way things are. And then the pandemic happened, and then she caught coronavirus, and then she saw that this situation is not how it should be. Just because it is this way doesn't mean that this way is how it should be. She was one of those people who's like, well, I've been paying for health insurance my whole life. You just kind of have to do it. You have to get a job that that covers it for you, and yada yada. And it's just like, why do we always have to learn the hard way? Why is it that every time we'll just accept bad news, accept a bad situation, because we think it must be that way, even when an alternative is not only presented, but practiced everywhere else in the world? What's the most frustrating thing about it, Anna? God, that sounds so frustrating. That sounds super shitty. I don't even have to deal with, like, you know, the life-saving aspect of stuff, and I know that, like, people's inherent, oh my god, inherent inability to show any gratitude is one of the worst things about people. Oh, fuck, yes. The seeming immortality of youth, with, you know, complete disrespect for everybody else's lack of immortality. Yeah. You know, we've been watching Margot. We've been watching Jackie's younger sister, who's 16, for the last, like, month or so, and we're following all guidelines as closely as possible. Even stuff that they said you don't need to worry about anymore, like wearing gloves. We're like, well, we already got the gloves. We're gonna wear the gloves. We're gonna make sure that we are doing everything with the utmost attention on it, and it needs to, like, the worst part about coronavirus is that it's so invisible. Like, if there were bite marks, if people's skin went gray or they started shambling or something, people could treat this like it was real. But the fact that it goes without there being symptoms right away, oh, and, you know, that the president said don't worry about it, has convinced a shitload of people that, like, they don't have to worry about it. And that is leading to a ton of just, like, unacceptable behavior that's killing people. It's killing a lot of people. And, you know, young people are forever stupid and will forever be stupid. So, like, part of me wants to give them a little bit of a pass, but, like, this is the smartest we've ever been as a people, the most informed. Well, you can get one of those tests to see if it's in your blood system or has been in your blood system. I can't remember what the name of the tests are, but we thought about getting some of those ourselves to see if we had gotten it earlier and just not been aware. But yeah, being in Georgia, and just the South in general being as what's a good way to put this, as unwilling to accept the truth, to go off of feelings, to go off of things without evidence, as it is, which there are people like that everywhere. I will admit that, but I know that people, blind faith is like a fucking, it's like something to be praised in the South. It is a skill. It is something you know, it's something you want everyone to know about you in the South. It's like how you go with your gut. Not gonna let some egghead tell you what to think or what to do. I don't even know anybody who's had coronavirus, they say. Name one person that you know that's had coronavirus. I think the virus is reigniting it for a lot of people, which is a fucking shame that it takes 200,000 dead. If you do, instead of just looking at the number of people that are reported as dead from coronavirus, you just look at the number of people that have died this year versus the average previous years, you get, we've been past 200,000 for quite a while now. And I know that's a statistic that people don't want to, what? I can't even get back in there. People don't want to think about. Oh, that's why they put this one in here. Huh. I never even thought of that. Is how many more people have died in the same time versus how many people have just died specifically because of coronavirus. Because the complications of the coronavirus can lead to other things being more deadly. It can also lead to exactly the reason that they flattened the curve, because there's fewer resources to deal with issues like other people being hospitalized or other people needing ventilators or yada yada yada. Oh my god. I was hoping. I wasn't expecting, but I was hoping. That's good. We got a little junk on our hands. We got a little junk on our hands. Hey, that's cool, because I want him to stay in his current form. Hey Kyle, guess what? I'm gonna throw this thing away. I don't need 200 plus casings, but I also don't need that gun. Dude, I bet my money's gonna get stuck behind this wall. Oh, no, it just cut through, okay. I threw away Vorpal gun. Just for a little extra scratch. A little icing on top of the cherry on top. Whoa. But despite the state of the world being kind of like, I don't think I can come up with a better word than just like overall nightmarish. Remember when the wildfires were in Australia and people were like kind of on the it's somebody else's problem front? Like maybe if Australia took care of itself, blah, 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 blah. Like, remember that was the beginning of the year? It feels like 100 years ago because the amount of stuff that's happened since then. But, you gotta learn it the hard way. You gotta experience it yourself. That's the only way that people learn. And I fucking hate that about people. Over me, there's been no speed this year, but I also have been sitting at home for most of it. I don't see how anyone in a body could think that this is the peak of anything. Have they never gotten sick? Have they, do they wear no shoes or clothes? Do they not brush their teeth? Do they not have to, wear glasses? Do they not, like, there's so, it's the simplest argument to break down. And the fact that people say other things is really just their way of saying, like, I don't want to have to do anything. Asking me to do anything is asking too much. It's an infringement for you to ask me to do anything at all. And that's the bottom line of it. Like, I mean, sickness ruins people's lives today, other than the coronavirus, and it has been consistently. It doesn't need to be a world-ending disaster for people to understand that, like, or it shouldn't, for people to have to remember that, like, if it weren't for medical science, we would be dying, like, left and right. Because people are still dying left and right with all of the help of medical science. As good as it's gotten, it's still not perfect, and it's only because of science that, like, things like population or childhood mortality rates have gone down and shit like that. It's just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. It really is. Asking me to do anything infringes on my sovereignty. Imagine a world without vitamins. Imagine a world without everything. Like, it's just, there's so much stuff that on a daily basis we functionally need. That, like, anybody that thinks that the human body should just be able to take it is a fucking idiot or a con artist. You're either stupid or you're intentionally misleading people. Yeah, dialysis or insulin, like, it would just be one of those, like, well, you have this disease, so you have to die, and we have to just watch it happen. You and all your family. Yeah, but people say, but it went away without a vaccine. It really makes you think. Maybe instead of 0.5%, we can just lose 40%. Right? It makes me laugh, like, not all the people that died in the Black Plague, but when people will be like, the human body is meant to be able to handle this stuff, and then they'll be like, I gotta go wash my hands. How do you hold those two, that cognitive dissonance? How do you allow that to exist in your brain, where you can know that medical practices are the reasons that people are surviving? Oh, Kyle, I mean, again, not funny, but, like, there was a post, like a Twitter post that I saw recently where, you know, the new prices for the new Xbox, or no, the new Xbox is going to be like $299, right? Which is like the cheapest console in a billion years. Is the price of the Switch or something like that. And someone posted that, like, right now her insulin that she has to take every day, or a weekly dose of insulin, is $349 a week. You have to spend a week's worth of more than the cost of an Xbox in order to get insulin to stay alive, on top of all the other costs of existence. because people don't want to. And I can't even say pay more taxes, because it's not more taxes. Is if you just add. If you added your the cost of your insurance and just put that in with your taxes, you would be paying less taxes. We'll take this one for now. We're probably going to switch it back, though. Just imagine your healthcare cost is a tax. That is, you're paying more for taxes than you would if there were universal healthcare. But the thing is, like, people, they need it to happen to themselves for them to take it seriously. Or their very, very near loved one. That's the only way they can take this shit seriously. Because humanity is selfish and people are short-sighted. It's selfishness. I mean, it's selfishness, and it's like a sheepish kind of following of what they've been told that is keeping people from voting for it. Just the word communism or socialism is enough. I had this. So I play Final Fantasy XIV, which is an online group. And one of these guys in my group who, you know, is a dumbass, is Canadian. And at the beginning of the year, when Bernie Sanders was still an option to help get this country out of its own ass, he was talking about how, you know, his family is from Poland and they're not gonna let a socialist, you know, ruin their life. And I'm like, dude, you live in a country that benefits from so many social programs. He's got universal health care. He complained about how high his taxes were, you know, because he has to pay for health care. And I told him, I like straight up told him how much I was taxed this year, and it was more than him. Without health care. Not include, well, I mean, I had health care from work, but I didn't even include that. And my taxes was a greater percentage of my income than his was in Canada. And when his wife got pregnant, he paid $0 for the entire pregnancy. Another Canadian in my group said that the most he spent on his pregnancy was snacks at the hospital. Like vending machine snacks. And, you know, this guy continually, for some reason, he's Canadian, but he's on Team Trump. He's completely, like, part of the squad or whatever. So, yeah, and I showed him the $10,000 bill that we were paying after continuing to pay for taxes. Like, we still owe on a $10,000 hernia operation for Jackie from 2 years ago. And she's still paying her health insurance every month. So it's just a combination of her continuing to give them money and them doing everything they can to pay for as little of it as possible. So, system's fucked. I mean, you can't go to Canada right now. Borders closed. I think at this point Canada might just say, like, we keep them closed. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't affect them, and if it does, it affects them, but they don't want it to benefit others. It's really like, if you could just lie to a lot of people and say that we weren't going to give minorities healthcare too, it would just be for the middle upper class, the upwardly mobile. They'd probably be all aboard. It'd be like, well, it's financially responsible to pay less than yada yada, and have like a system with some serious oversight and yada yada yada. And all the other countries are doing it, and it's been so helpful. It's like, here's something I will never understand. There are many states that still do not have marijuana legalized, right? I don't smoke weed. I used to, and it makes me all paranoid and stuff. So I don't like it. But what I do understand is that every single state that has legalized marijuana has just reaped massive benefits in terms of taxing marijuana sales, and have turned it into social programs, probably some straight up kickbacks for corrupt politicians, whatever. It brings more money into the fucking state, and people are still like, I don't like it. Yeah, I smoke marijuana in secret, but I don't want it to be legal because I have a moral problem with it. Like, my mom she was talking about how she has a property under her name that she rents out to people, and she was like, I went there the other day and it smelled like marijuana, and I was like, so what? She's like, well, people living in my property and they're smoking weed, and I was like, so fucking what? What's your problem with it? Who are they hurting by doing that? I was like, if they lived in your property and they smell and they spray perfume all the time, would you have as much of a problem? No, that's because my mom smoked a shitload of weed when she was younger anyway. Like, she's just older now and can cast judgment. I don't know. The whole thing about this world we live in is dumb. It's dumb and it's selfish, and if I don't like it, no one should have it, kind of thing. It's a simpleton's argument. You use that money to feed so many poor, sick people, but then people would give their money to legitimate business owners and the government instead of giving it to the crazy ass, fucked up, illegal drug trade that's going on in still many American states. Oh my god, I sucked so much at this game. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason that, Whoa, Papa Peace. How's it going? That scared me so much. I don't get raided very often, so every time I do, I am terrified. So that was a nice little jolt. Woo! I was like, how's there a little video popping up on my OBS preview? What's going on? The happiest day of my life. Oh, nice. Dude, this run sucked. I mean, we got Gunther on the first floor or whatever, so it was very easy. I don't usually use Gunther, but that run was turlet. It was stinky turlet water. I've seen him on. I have him subbed. I pop in sometimes, but I'm bad at being a part of the audience. I suck as a Twitch viewer. It's true.